Hello Flat Earth believers, this is Darryl E. Berry Jr. back on my third Flat Earth response. My second Flat Earth response addressed how eclipses work. The link to that second response is here and in the video description as well. This third response addresses claims made by Flat Earth proponent DITRH about the space programs being fake. First, I saw this video of his asking if the SpaceX rockets are holograms and saying, quote, "One thing we know for sure, it's not real." That gave me a laugh, thank you for that. Then I wondered, what evidence or proof could he possibly have to say that these rockets are for sure not real? Next, I found this video. He's pointing out first that real rockets move very fast. A video is shown of what looks like a small private rocket taking off. Then he shows a video of what I found to be the ILS Proton launching the Inmarsat 5 F2 satellite. His first point seems to be that the quote real rocket takes off fast and the quote fake rocket takes off slow. Too slow to be real. Perhaps the smaller rocket took off faster. I need you to give some speeds. If the smaller rocket in fact took off faster than the larger one, let me proffer a possibility. Is it possible that the larger rocket, since it's much bigger and carrying a payload, including more fuel to move its larger size and its payload, that it can start off moving slower, yet ultimately reach the same speeds and faster and still be real? For example, I've taken off from a stoplight in my car by myself next to a public transportation bus loaded with people or a large truck with a truck bed loaded with cargo. And I noticed that I took off faster than the bus and faster than the truck. Does that mean that the bus is fake too? Does that mean that the truck is fake too? Or could it simply be that larger vehicles that weigh more and are carrying a load may take off slower due to their increased weight and the increased load they carry? My experience with buses and trucks show me that yes, that's the thing. I've ridden on a public transportation bus and I've ridden on a truck, and yes, they are real. Thus, simply pointing out that the smaller personal rocket took off faster than the larger commercial rocket with a payload does not prove that the larger one is fake. Besides, as someone suggested in the video comments, if these commercial rockets are in fact CGI, they could simply speed up the movement of the CGI to match quote real rockets. DITRH responded to the comment saying, quote, "They aren't 100% CGI. They use all kinds of deception. Some are just rocket-assisted blimps, airships." End quote. To that I say, prove it. Prove just one of what's promoted as a rocket from any space agency is really a quote rocket-assisted blimp or a quote airship. This is to say, where is your evidence? How do you know that at least some quote rockets are really quote rocket-assisted blimps or quote airships? Point us to just one and show us how you learned and know that that quote rocket is really a quote rocket-assisted blimp or an quote airship. Next, DITRH, you show the ILS Proton taking off and caption it, "This is CGI, it's not real." Later in the video, you show the top half of the rocket fading out, apparently to prove that it's CGI. I thought, well, at least that's something. But as we will see, it doesn't prove the rocket is CGI. Even in your video, and I found two others of the same launch here and here, it's clearly a video issue. Your video will suffice to show this, as will the others. Let's play your video for a bit. Notice that the entire top half of the screen shows a disturbance. The entire top half gets darker, and the bottom half of the screen issue aligns with the bottom half of the disappearing rocket area. It's not some, quote, rocket CGI failing temporarily. It's a data corruption in the video file itself, or an issue with the camera, or what have you, that affected the entire top half of the screen. So, DITRH, I look forward to 1. Any further evidence or explanation you have demonstrating that just because a rocket may initially take off slower than another rocket, that means it's fake. 2. Any further evidence you have showing the ILS Proton is CGI, at least at the top half, since in the video it clearly shows a disturbance to the entire top half of the video, not just the rocket disappearing. 3. Your evidence and proof by which you know that even one of what is promoted to be a rocket is really a quote rocket-assisted blimp or quote airship deception. Looking a bit more through your videos to see if you already posted what you claim to be proof, I found this video here. Apparently, you claim to be showing rocket launch videos but pointing out that these are fake rocket launches. I'll point out some apparent assumptions you make, because whether these are rocket launches or fake rocket launches, either you have no evidence or you're not presenting it for the claims you are making. With one apparent launch video, you say, with all that thrust and these 3 idiots inside, wouldn't there be a huge smoke and dust cloud? And then you show an arrow indicating the smoke and dust, apparently pointing out that it's not enough smoke and dust. I ask, what is the exact thrust of said rocket? Or, if it's not a rocket but CGI or what have you, how much thrust would a real rocket of the purported size and build have? B, how much dust and cloud is really seen with a real rocket with that amount of thrust at takeoff, which is to say, how much dust and cloud should we be seeing in a video with a real rocket of that build and that thrust? C, how do you know the thrust of the rocket? How do you know how much dust and cloud should be seen with that level of thrust? And when and how did you learn this? And also, D, since your question mark here indicates that smoke and dust missing from one side of the rocket means it's somehow fake, I ask, could it be that the wind at the location was blowing the dust and cloud to one side? The next launch you caption, CGI launch with fake smoke and fire. How do you know that the smoke and fire is fake? In case you didn't know, just saying something is fake doesn't prove that it is fake. Did you just look at the video and decide that it's fake? Of course, I realize that the space programs all must be fake for your flat earth delusion to remain intact. But you say they are fake in fact. How do you know that this rocket is CGI? What evidence do you have? What proof do you have? Just playing a video and saying it's fake doesn't prove it's fake. Just playing a video and saying there isn't enough smoke or fire doesn't prove there isn't enough smoke and fire. Did you just decide it's fake by looking at the video? Did you just decide it's not enough smoke and fire? So far, it seems you're just making this shit up. If you just looked at the video and can tell that it's fake, then what observation and experience do you have with real rockets of that build and size that lets you know what real smoke and fire from such a rocket would look like? And on in the video, you're just playing clips and making various claims. You're not presenting any evidence or facts, just speculation. How much acceleration is going on at that precise moment in the launch, or should be going on according to what they say, and what g-forces would or should be experienced at that precise moment? Give us facts. As Rashid has pointed out about the flat earth position in our conversation, I see a lot of speculation. I see speculation after speculation, but no evidence and no proof. Will you provide some facts behind the claims you're making? And so far, it seems like you can't even think critically enough to even be aware of the implications of the claims you're making. You can't reasonably say there's not enough fire and smoke unless you know how much fire and smoke there should be. If you have no idea how much fire and smoke there should be, if you have no knowledge of what such a rocket of such a thrust should produce, then you have no way of saying that there's not enough. Unless you can answer those questions and let us know how you know these things, then clearly you're just making this shit up.